What's good, YouTubers? Got some pickups here. A bunch of games that came in jewel cases, I guess will be the theme. So, PS1 and Dreamcast. Just going to get right into this. Try and not talk too much. First stuff I got came from the thrift. I think this was last Monday. I was driving home from work. I didn't want to stop at the thrift because it was like kind of out of my way, but something told me that I should go to the thrift, and I'm glad that I did because I found some pretty decent stuff. A few things. Well, I guess just to make this simple, I'm only showing what I'm keeping. So yeah. But anyway, all these games really do need new jewel cases because they're pretty rough. In fact, I almost passed, but I did ask an associate if I could, because they were all bagged in plastic to hang on the little hooks there. I asked an associate if I could open them up and check the disc out. And while the actual cases are really rough, the discs themselves and the manuals and stuff were in excellent condition, so I did decide to pick them up. First one here is Pandemonium. I've heard pretty good stuff about this. Not the type of game that I normally play, but it is actually a game that was on my radar because TG, the Golden Age Gamer, picked this up a while back, and he had some pretty interesting things to say about it, and sounded pretty good. And went and checked out some gameplay and thought it looked pretty bugged out and weird. So it was on my radar, so I was really happy to find this. Still a pretty cheap title, considering how quirky and colorful and well received this game is. I'm surprised it doesn't go for a bit more, but yeah, what are you gonna do with these fucking prices, right? So there's that, and really clean. I was just really impressed with how good a shape everything was, considering how bad the cases are. So all these cases probably will end up getting replaced. This one I was really excited about. This is a game that I've passed on a bunch of times, and I always wish that I'd picked it up every time I pass on it, because the prices on this are creeping up as well. Still, you can get it pretty cheap, but they are creeping up, and that is Heart of Darkness. I really like this game's art style. Has a really nice look to it, so I was happy, of course, to find this. Has both discs, so we got disc 1, the manual, and of course disc 2 in there as well. What I don't really get is what this is, so maybe you guys know. This was in the behind the manual. I'm assuming this was once had like 3D glasses or something attached to it, but you can see some of the game branding down there. So it'd be cool if it had whatever was initially attached there, but thought that was kind of cool that was in there, despite it not being totally intact. But yeah, Heart of Darkness, man, really looking forward to playing this one. The next game I have played since I picked it up, and it's funny because the day before I stopped at the thrift, TG and I were chatting, and he had brought this game up about how its price had like gone up by like 300% seemingly overnight, and a certain YouTuber had done a few videos on this game, resulting in its price to climb, which was unfortunate, but that's the way this community seems to be going until the inevitable crash. Fingers crossed it's soon, so I can get all those rare hidden gems for pennies on the dollar. But the game is Omega Boost. Already played through this. Really fun game, like super addictive. It's actually still in my PS3 right now, but this is the game that when I saw at the thrift, I knew that I had made the right call by going that day. I was really, really happy to find this. So yeah, I just got to replace this case, and this will be a really clean copy. Fun game, highly recommended, man. I've been sleeping on this one. It's one I've been wanting to pick up for a while. A local retro store had a copy for about $9 or $12? I think it was $9. It doesn't matter. But they had a copy, and I had actually gone to pick it up a couple weeks back, and it was gone. So I was pretty disappointed. So it was nice to find this, and yeah. Despite the really corny like full motion video opening, the gameplay is fantastic. Holds up pretty well too. So if you're a fan of like the Panzer Dragoon games on like the Saturn, you probably like this. So yeah. Last PS1 game I have is one that I've had on my wants list for a while, and I was talking to Bubs the other night, and he had mentioned that he was surprised that it was still so cheap. And I said, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and find a copy of that while it is really cheap. And the cheapest complete copy I could find was on Amazon, and it was sealed, and that was $12 shipped. So went ahead and got it. It is Rising Zan, the Samurai Gunman, by Agetech. At least published by Agetech. I'm not sure who developed it. I have not played it yet. It's, I mean, obviously it's still sealed. Really like this game's cover. Cool cover art on that. Looking forward to checking this one out. I've heard the controls are a bit rough and outdated. But other than that, it looks really quirky and kind of interesting. So this game has a lot going on for it, considering how cheap you can pick this game up. Really cool cover art, which I know doesn't really affect the game value, but cool publisher, mature game, quirky gameplay. Kind of has all the elements for like a expensive PS1 title, but for some reason still dirt cheap. So maybe they made tons of these, who knows. So that's it for PS1 games. Next is going to be Dreamcast stuff, and just a sick fucking pile of Dreamcast games. One I don't have because I actually had to send it back. I got a copy of Blue Stinger offline, but they sent me a broken game, like not even just scratched, like a broken fucking game. So that got returned to the sender. They refunded me, but I was like, listen, I'm not a fucking garbage dumpster. Like, you can have your fucking trash back. I'm gonna send it back to you. Like, I'm not gonna fucking, you know what I mean? It's whatever. It definitely wasn't as it was listed, so that was disappointing. So I don't have a copy of Blue Stinger to show, but as long as I secure a copy by Christmas, I'll be happy, because I really want to play that game during Christmas season. But anyway, the games I did get, really cool Dreamcast games here. Really excited about all these. Probably the one I'm least excited to play, but really excited to have, because it was so hard for me to find a copy of this, is The Ring Terror's Realm on the Dreamcast here. So this game was a nightmare to find. I waited on eBay and just waited and waited until a cheap one popped up, because if you're patient, you can get this game for like 10 or 15 bucks, but it is not easy to find. So really happy to have this. Obviously a survival horror game on the Dreamcast. I never hear anybody talk about it. I guess the opening few hours are just brutally boring and mundane, but I guess it does pick up, and it's supposed to be pretty interesting, so I'm definitely excited to get into this. So yeah, very cool find there. Next is another game that kind of spiked in price for a while, but the prices have cooled off, and that is Omicron, I think, the Nomad Soul, of course, starring David Bowie. So this game kind of spiked after the passing of David Bowie. Rest in peace to my man Ziggy S. Yeah, not a huge Bowie fan, but of course I do appreciate an artist when an artist is indeed an artist. So yeah, really cool game, man. Bizarre. I checked it out, played it for a few hours, and it's a much bigger game than I think I was ready to kind of just like sit down and get into. But regardless, very cool. Really happy to have it. kind of just a bizarro storyline. Can't say too much about it because I haven't put too much time into it, but the time I have spent with it is just some weird shit in this game. So really unique, and definitely really happy to add this to my very small Dreamcast collection. Next is a game I have played through multiple times since I got a copy. Found this game actually at a retro store for a fraction of its price, way underpriced. And when I saw it, I was like, man, that can't be the right price. So I just asked the clerk to look at it, checked it out, and I said, okay, I guess I'll take it. And he's like, oh, and rung it up at the price the sticker had on it. You know, I thought they were going to pull the old bait and switch, like, oh, that says, you know, $15 or whatever it was. Oh, it's actually 50, but they charged me the sticker price, which was nice. Dynamite Cop, awesome fucking game. I've had a blast playing this game. I've played through it a few times now. Awesome game. This is possibly one of my favorite Dreamcast games. Well, no, it's definitely one of my favorite Dreamcast games. It may be my favorite Dreamcast game. I have just had an absolute blast playing this, especially with 2 players. Sweet fucking game. And for some reason, I always thought this game was a light gun game. And then it kind of, I think it was Bubs again. I was talking to Bubs, and he told me it was a beat 'em up. And because I think I asked him for like a list of like really cool Dreamcast games, since he has a complete collection of North American Dreamcast games. And this was pretty high on his list, and man, this game is so fucking fun to play. So really happy to have this. Definitely not a light gun game. It is in fact a beater. You beat the fuck out of people, and I enjoy that. So happy to have some Dynamite Cop there. And last, definitely the crown jewel of this little pickups video. You'll see this game again in my 10 most wanted games video, part 2. And this was actually sent to me by the homie Bubs, once again, coming up in my video. It seems like I can't go a video without talking about him. And that is Bang-I-O on the Dreamcast. What a fucking treasure this game is. Fantastic. I've been having a blast with this. Super fucking hard, you know, obviously. Hard as nails, but gorgeous game. Super quirky and over the top. I love the death screen when you die in this game every time. I just think it's phenomenal. Never get sick of it, and I see it a lot. But this copy of this game is just so... Oh, look at that. It's actually in the Dreamcast. The copy of this game is so clean, and it's in wonderful condition. So, shout out to Bubs for the plug on this one. And guys, that is going to do it for my Dreamcast and PS1 pickups here. Shout out to everybody that didn't make an E3 impressions video. You guys are the real MVPs. Yeah, man, I didn't even get on fucking YouTube for like the past few days because it's like, oh, my impressions of fucking Nintendo's E3 conference or fucking Sony E3 reaction video. Suck a fucking egg, you fucking goobers. Oh my god. Like, I don't give a fuck what you think about a fucking conference, man. I really don't. And the last thing I want to see is your fucking fake reaction with your mouth agape, gasping. It's some shit that's already been announced. Like, it's so fucking corny, man. And it's all, especially the big YouTubers that do it. It's just such a fucking clickbaity piece of shit. You know, I've seen some decent E3 reaction videos. Like, Ultimate Floyd always does a great job with his E3 reaction videos. His probably channel is like one of the few channels where I'm actually excited to see an E3 reaction video. But like the rest of my fucking feed, when it's E3 reaction videos, I just want to fucking like just smash my face into a fucking rhinoceros's tooth, man. I can't fucking take it. So yeah, glad that's over. And I think that's gonna do it for me, guys. So crack out.